Welcome everyone back to another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. I was my mother's caregiver after she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Sadly, she passed on 1/1/2020, but we started together for Sharon.com in her memory and to advocate today for a cure for all those still battling PD and their families because no one is ever alone in this fight for a cure. Today's guest is someone literally not just inspiring, amazing, incredible, but really just fabulous is the word for me. I've been following you for some time and just so honored to call you friend and thank you too for so much that you do for me. Even if you're not aware, we share all that you turn Parkinson's and you do as much as I can weekly and daily. And I just want the world to know some of the things that you're really accomplishing. So welcome to the show, Tim.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, George. I appreciate that and the kind words for both myself and you, Turn Parkinson's. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about this important cause that we're advocating for.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to tell my wife just before the show that we actually had the honor to speak a little bit before, almost a year. It's amazing how quickly time goes, but I think you were on a train, so it was, I think
Oh yeah,
you might have been traveling on the Amazing Race at the time. So,
I
I
had
think
forgotten that, but yeah, I was. I was on a train. Where was I at? I think I was. No, I
you're always
don't.
traveling. That's an amazing thing because, again, I told you earlier, I don't like traveling, but you're always traveling, and it's so important because it shows so many things from somebody diagnosed with PD, which I'll let you tell the journey, but you don't stop, you keep fighting, and that's, again, something that inspires me on my tough days, and everyone listening might know. Literally had ankle surgery today. So from
That's crazy, man.
from anesthesia to this, nothing will stop me from fighting for Parkinson's cure. And that's the only way I can show it. So the
Well,
show
thank
must
you,
go on.
George.
Yeah. It
Thank
makes,
you for all the time and effort you put in, and
appreciate
the fact that you had surgery this morning and you're still here doing the podcast is crazy.
yeah. I knew if I told you, because a lot of people, unfortunately, have had a few, they're like, oh, do you want to post? But no, I don't want to postpone. This keeps me going. So let's get
Excellent.
right to it. Maybe you could tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I was diagnosed 14 years ago now, coming up to 14 years ago, it's about 13 and a bit. In 2011, I have to make sure keep my dates straight in my head now. I've been at this long enough that I start to forget. But I was 46 years old in 2010. Late 2010, started noticing a tremor in my left big toe. And by March of 2011, I was diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's disease and was responded the way most people do, was thrilled. This stupid disease had entered my life. The unfortunate thing was my dad had Parkinson's, and believe it or not, it's my adoptive father. And so I had seen his journey with it, which was quite unpleasant. So I had a good idea of what could possibly be down the pipe for me. Wasn't too crazy about it, but I was settled in and I worked out a lot at the time. I was training for a half marathon, triathlon, I should say, at the time. And I ended up staying with that, continued working my way through that, completed that. And then 2 years into the diagnosis, along came the Amazing Race Canada. And at my wife's insistence, my son and I applied. And don't you know that we got on the doggone show? We got on it, managed to survive it somehow, and in the end ended up winning the crazy thing, which was super fun. But the best thing that's come out of that is the fact that it's given me a huge platform for Parkinson's. It's allowed me to speak across the world to so many thousands of people about Parkinson's and the things that we need. I got my launch at World Parkinson's Congress back in 2013 in Montreal. Looking forward to 2026. Hopefully, we have the chance to meet there in Seattle at the next World Parkinson's Congress, and it's been a fabulous ride so far. So from the race and Parkinson from an advocacy standpoint, we went on to start U-Turn Parkinson's, which is a wellness center that provides exercise and a variety of things for people living with Parkinson's disease. Um, we take a holistic view of the person. We look at the whole person and look at what we need to provide them while they're living with the disease, but we have a heartbeat for exercise. We completely have bought into the idea that exercise is medicine, that we need to be exercising every day, uh, 5 days a week, no, at least 30 minutes a day to see a real difference made in our lives. And we see hundreds of people. We have hundreds of visits through U-Turn Parkinson's every month, and we see such a difference being made in people's lives. We see people who have difficulty in relationships, who, because they're able to get out of the house and stop driving their wives nuts, they actually improve their relationships. We see people walk better. We see people better in just about every facet of life because they attend classes on a regular basis. And this has been a fabulous thing for me because I've always been a bit of an entrepreneur. And my wife was just saying again the other day, she didn't know what in the world would have happened to me if I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, had to quit my nursing job, and didn't have U-turn Parkinson's. It's been my outlet for, well, 8.5 years now that we've been running it. So absolutely fantastic.
It's amazing the accomplishments you've already done, continue to do today, and then I know in the future you will, and you're really changing and shaping the future of so many others. So thank you for all you do. My mother, unfortunately, didn't know about, it might not have been there at the time, a lot of the organizations, and she never met anyone in 15 years diagnosed with Parkinson's. And as a caregiver, kind of look back, it breaks my heart because I just imagine us zooming in with you live at your events, and
Yeah.
would have changed her life for the better. But knowing that you're out there, and that's really the goal of the show, is that we need, and everyone listening, please share this, please support Tim. We're going to jump in a moment into a lot of the incredible resources you at home can also really just in seconds follow, like, and support Tim. And it's just incredible how far we have come, and not just knowledge research, but technology. And I'm really honored again to have you here today. You've said so much. I could talk for 20 hours about just your nursing experience. Maybe one quick
Yeah.
question was, did you have, I know you said your father or adopted father, he had Parkinson's, so you probably had a little experience, but in your nursing career, did you meet a lot of individuals diagnosed with Parkinson's?
I met lots of people who were on this little drug called Sentiment. Back in the day, it was a liquid. You'd have to give it to them every couple of hours, and they were always on the geriatric floor, right? They're always old folks. So
Mhm.
that's the way you always saw the things. And then my dad came down with it. He was in his mid 60s when he was diagnosed, and I watched him go through just a miserable experience with Parkinson's. He would have internal tremors that would just drive him crazy, and he would just yell and scream from time to time, and it was a horrible experience for him. So looking back on it, I thought, my God, there's got to be something better that we can do than this, And people started talking about the effects of exercise on Parkinson's. So I'm like, well, where do we go? Where do we exercise? Where does this happen? Where's the rehab? Where's the therapy? It didn't exist. And so the nurse in me said, well, this is ridiculous. How can we have such a powerful tool at our disposal and not be using it? So that was my motivation for starting U-Turn, was to take what science has already shown us. It has shown us that intense exercise will slow the disease, if not stop it in some people. And I wish I could say it stopped it outright in me, but I tell you what, it makes a huge difference in my life. When I'm not exercising regularly, I'm not talking as well, I'm not moving as well. Everything is better when I exercise. Everything is better.
Yeah, it's such an important message because there are individuals out there, unfortunately, who feel alone and are not aware that exercise can really make a big improvement till we find a cure. And a lot of what you told me about your father sounds a lot similar to my mother. Obviously, everyone's journey is different, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
baffled even today as to why it progressed so quickly because she had it for about 7, 8 years and she was still able to live independently, but all of a sudden she went for a special trial, and that day she came back was the day everything went downhill. And
Hmm.
I'm still kind of not sure what happened. But she also had a lot of internal tremors, which I always tell everyone, and you're probably aware. Just because someone looks like they're okay doesn't mean you know what's happening on the inside, and that's a important message.
That's right. I'm so glad that at U-Turn we can now tell people that we have options for them
Oh, yeah.
between our support groups and our singing group, our voice groups, all the gamut of things that you can find on our website, uturnpd.org. But the biggest thing that I always keep in mind is that 14 years ago, when I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I was given that classic scenario. And I saw the doctor. He said, "Yeah, you have Parkinson's. Here's a prescription for levodopa. Here's a return appointment in 6 months. See you then."
Mm.
And now I can say to people, I recently met a young man who's 46 years old, just diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, two small girls at home, and I can say, "See you at U-turn. We have the resources to help you, your wife, your kids, survive this thing much, much better than when I was diagnosed." There's so much more hope that comes from having a group of people. You meet in a class of 20, 25 people, you're exercising together, you're hanging out together, you're talking together, you're sharing the difficulties that this disease brings to life, but you realize you're not alone. You literally have a community that surrounds you, that picks you up on your bad days and is there for you to encourage on your good days when they're having a bad day. And I want to encourage you that if you live somewhere where you don't have a community, to contact us. Go online. You see our website there. You can go to the contact us page. There's a resources page. Under the resources is our online classes, or join a class button actually. But give us a call. We'll hook you up with our online classes. We have a variety of things that are online and that you can access, and lots of resources there for you. You don't have to do this thing alone.
I'm very biased because I love all you do, so I'm on your team, and I also agree everybody, and I try to do it. It sounds funny, but like as we're alive, I think I'm already subscribed. But all you have to do takes literally a click of a second or a button. Of course, my board is blocked, so I'll still do it. But all you have to do is that. Take 3 seconds, and you're right in there on the on U-turn. And
Oh,
before we get to U-turn, I do want to first again thank you for interview you do with me. It's amazing when I look back. It was in 2023. So it's fascinating how quickly time goes, but the advances are incredible. If you go, everyone listening to interview or togetherforsharon.com, click interviews for free, and you can see a lot more in depth on how to reach Tim to see his background and incredible experience in nursing. And his father also wanted to dedicate today in your father's memory because I don't believe anyone should ever be forgotten just because they lost their battle and in time like my mother. Hopefully they're both together right now dancing up there in the sky and thinking about us and thankful for all that they did get the opportunity to see and hear and also experience. So we miss and love them, but we won't let them ever be forgotten. And then I wanted to also share an important website. This is your outside the more of the business world, timsr.ca. I'll be sharing all the links. A lot of the inspiration comes from some of the sayings you have and used and shared. And it just, I had a lot of time and, or spent a lot of time researching and enjoying a lot of this. We do have to talk a little bit about your incredible TED Talk, your author. I know I don't want to say anything secret, but I know you've written books and always looking
yeah.
forward to helping you share those too in anytime we can.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Parkinson's has been very good to me, if I dare say such a thing. It's allowed me the opportunity to help lots of people. It's given me the opportunity to travel more than I could imagine. Um, Opportunity to write a book, and just all the various people around the world that I've had the opportunity to be in contact with and get to hear their stories and learn from them and take encouragement from them. And that's really where a lot of my stories, my stuff comes from, is the fact that I've met so many people around the world who are strong, who have great ideas, and who've encouraged me. This TEDx was just a wild day, man.
I love it. We're going to share it also on the show notes, but I had an opportunity to watch it and really enjoyed it. Also, we kind of touched a little bit on U-turn, but maybe you could tell us a little bit. I mean, you mentioned how people can get involved, but one question I have is how do you juggle? You know, I do a lot too, but looking at you, I think I need to do even more, which I think we need to add some time into the day and the week. But how do you manage and kind of, keep up with all these. And then in a minute, we'll shift also to PD Avengers, which we had your incredible, co-founders. One is coming on in this year, and Larry was just on recently. I had a beautiful moments with him. I consider you a family, and it just means the world that you were able to join us today.
Thank you. Well, the way I get it all done is I've got good people around me. U-Turn has an executive director. We're just hiring our third full-time staff member. So I don't do everything by myself, not even close. We have loads of good instructors who work with us, tons of volunteers. There are just so many people who help make everything work. PD Avengers, there's lots of volunteers that help there, various things going on behind the scenes. Larry and Sonia put in countless hours with PD Avengers. And that's another important website that if you haven't heard of PD Avengers, you should check it out. Our whole goal is ending Parkinson's disease. It's a patient-led organization united in the purpose of ending Parkinson's disease. We raise awareness, engagement, and hope. We add urgency to the cause of ending Parkinson's, and you need to get involved there. This next April we'll be doing Spark the Night once again, and Spark the Night is we try to light up as many buildings as we can, and institutions, bridges, places around the world. We light them up blue in order to bring awareness to Parkinson's disease and the fact that we want to light up the night and let everybody know that what the needs of the Parkinson's community are.
And
Lots of ways for you to get involved.
yeah, we were actually supporters. I go to almost all the meetings whenever I can. Unfortunately, sometimes I'm stuck in the work, but it's a beautiful organization. If you go also to our website, togetherforsharon.com, sometimes this is slow, but if you scroll down on the main page, you'll see, hopefully you'll see it, that you'll see Spark the Night. I think it's important to, there it is. So you can see we support you all and
Yeah,
everything you do. And if you also click World Parkinson Day, you'll be able to learn more. But please, again, contact Tim at U-Turn Parkinson's, also PD Avengers, all great newsletters. I subscribe to them all. And you can also watch more videos too on, if we had time, we'd be watching all these together on Spark Tonight. It's an incredible not just organization, but movement. You know, it's not just an organization. I think we have to all be family across the country to end Parkinson, not just, you know, US or Florida. It's not going to work unless we all team up, Canada, US, UK, everybody in this fight together. So again, I appreciate all you all do and letting us Americans here join in with the amazing work that Canada does too. And then I wanted to, one last link. I do want everyone to subscribe. Everyone knows I won't rest till you have 2 million. Again, 2 million subscriber. I subscribe on both of ours, but you can see a lot more with Tim. Can definitely please recommend to watch the TED Talk. It's if anything, it's so motivational. If you're sitting home, you feel alone, just put that on every single time, and you'll know that you're not alone. Maybe you want to touch on your YouTube channel, and then one last thing is I did want to touch on Amazing Race because we're big fans.
sure, sure. Well, my YouTube channel is all about coffee with Tim for the most part. It's a blog post that I do from time to time, just talking about life with Parkinson's, life in general, and life with Parkinson's. And you'll see my background hasn't changed any. Guy with hats. I like lots of hats. Um, and nonetheless, we get together I was doing it every Friday. Then I had DBS surgery. That threw me off a little bit. I was actually thrown off a bit before DBS surgery, but DBS certainly put a kibosh on it for a while. We're working our way back to it, but we try to get back to it at least once a month, maybe twice a month on Fridays. We get together and we just talk about Parkinson, how life is going. My dog Bella and my 4 kids.
We have a dog named Bella too. We'll have to introduce him one day. That's funny.
Yeah, I think
But
10 million people in the world have a dog named Bella.
ours is a little golden doodle. I don't know how yours is a big, it's a
Mine's a massive German
uh,
Shepherd.
oh wow. I always dream of someday having a German Shepherd. I'm because of law enforcement, but they're amazing dogs.
They're amazing dogs, but high maintenance, man.
How do you feel? Because we've had so many individuals diagnosed who had DBS and just curious if you could share, you know, how has life changed since the surgery?
Life is significantly better. It's unbelievable. I am absolutely thrilled be able to say that I've had such a good result from my DBS. I'm sorry when I hear that others say that they've had a difficult time, but my DBS has gone very, very well. It's taken a little bit of time to get my voice squared away, but I actually have two settings now for my DBS, one for speaking, one for everyday life, and I can actually talk better. I don't have that setting on for today, so today's a little bit more of a challenge to speak because it slows my mouth down. It slows everything down in here. That my whole communication piece doesn't want to work properly. But when I flip it over to that other setting, I can almost speak normally, which is amazing. But on a day like today, where I'm not doing a lot of speaking, I can leave it in this setting and virtually no tremor.
Oh.
And before, if I've had I should actually put it on my YouTube channel. Actually, this was a couple of videos that I did with my DBS now turned off, and I just shake like crazy.
Oh.
I think the beast is still there, but I've got it tamed. And the DBS has been a great, great, great therapy for me.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guests who've had it, and I'd say 99% of wished they had done it earlier. And like you said, there are few that didn't, but it's amazing how different everyone's journey is. So again, this is not a medical show, everyone, and I'm an attorney, so we're not telling you to go out and do it. Please contact your local physician, but I really appreciate you sharing that. I think a lot of what you do is important because also someone might have these questions. They either don't know who to ask, or maybe they don't want to ask a doctor, they want to ask a person. And
Yeah.
you're one of the role models, I think, for this movement. So I thank you. And one last area, which more for fun, is the work you do with Amazing Race, which I think is amazing. That's an easy, that's kind of too easy to say, but
The Amazing Race Canada, how it
it's,
changed my world.
I think I could manage to get this clip. Let's watch together for a minute.
Tim Jr., father and son from Winnipeg.
Can you hear that? Can you hear it okay?
Being a little jumpy.
I've always thought that my dad's Superman. I'm super honored to be doing the race with my dad.
In February 2011,
I was officially diagnosed with Parkinson's. Today, there's no cure for it. 5 years from now, I won't have the physical capability to do this race.
We have a chance to show that just because you're diagnosed with something, that diagnosis doesn't have to define your life.
Jamie and
I'll leave this in the background, but I have to tell you right now, you look 25. So there you might have looked 16. So you look good in the aging. And can you tell us a little bit, I guess, about that experience? As I mentioned earlier, before the show, I had, unfortunately, a few back surgeries just a few years ago. I was kind of looking around, NBA basketball was off season. So just discovered Survivor, and we binge watched the whole thing, finished every season, and then after we thought, what other shows are out there that really capture my mind that I don't think I can physically do? And Amazing Race was on, so
Yeah.
it's become like a family thing. Every night, my wife and my daughter jump in the room. We sit as a family, and we don't miss an episode. So we're gonna have to shift to Amazing Race Canada next, but this is like you mentioned, it's incredible, not just experience, but to get awareness out. So maybe you could touch a
Yeah.
little bit about the entire experience, because I can't even travel
Well,
to
it's
Jamaica for.
amazing just watching these clips, all these people, they look so young now. And I mean, this was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. This guy with Jody was on with the prosthetics was just amazing. He was an amazing individual, just strong, strong as a horse.
What
And
was the process? So one day you were at home and somebody just mentioned, why don't we go on the Amazing Race? Or maybe
the process was my wife was an absolute fanatic. When she learned of the Amazing Race, the US version, we started watching that, and she said, if this ever comes to Canada, we're applying. I'm like, okay. She's pretty passionate about it. Well, when it did come, I had been diagnosed, of course, already, and she actually gave up her desire to go on the race
Mhm.
and insisted that my son and I apply because she said, I guarantee you'll get an interview. And she was absolutely convinced that my Parkinson's story would capture their attention. And if we had a chance to get on, she said, you're going to go further with our son than you will with me.
Mhm.
And it was uncanny how absolutely correct she was. because Parkinson's story did get their attention. It is what got us on the race. And I would not have survived without my son. He literally pulled me up a hill, got us out of some
Mhm.
tough spots a couple of times that I just simply couldn't do. So
And that's amazing. It probably brought you both together too. I'm sure you look back now and probably laugh a little and maybe cry a little because I don't even know how you fit in that car because you don't see it at home, but this cameraman in the car and you're almost
there's a
kind
cameraman and a sound man in the
of,
car.
you're like crushed.
Cameraman's in the front seat and the sound man's right behind him.
What was it? Did you sleep? Because I can't even sleep on a normal day, but
Yeah. Well,
going,
the
go
Canadian
go.
show is much easier on you than
Oh,
the
really?
US show is. They were much more civil to us at night. They let us have beds.
And what about even medications and just kind of getting through the day? Did you find it tough during the diagnosis or
Yeah,
did
I found it tough back then. I thought I had it hard. I look at doing a lot of this stuff and I think, how did I do it? But my disease was not nearly so progressed back then. We get in this headspace that this is terrible, that where I'm at right now is bad. Life can always get worse. And let me tell you, I don't think I could survive the Amazing Race. Well, I know I couldn't survive the Amazing Race now. There's no way I could go run this.
I'm glad you had the opportunity then, and it'll live on forever, and we're, living it on now. But maybe one last question, then want to shift back to our advocacy. Was there one specific task that you thought was one that you might never want to ever even have nightmares about again?
No, there wasn't anything that terribly bad.
Like,
The muck tuck wasn't great. Had to eat a bunch of well blubber, but
that's funny. I
that
mean,
was
even looking here at these snakes and rats, I think I'll skip.
it's so funny. To know what it's like behind the scenes and then to
Right.
see how it looks on television is amazing. It's truly the magic of
Yeah.
television.
That's important to note in any kind of show because it's not, even police, as an officer, reserve, it's nothing like the TV movies, and Law
Yeah.
and Order. Like as an attorney, I always say, honestly, most of policing and law is paperwork. You just don't want to watch that. So, well, I really appreciate you sharing that. I mean, I have so many questions we won't get to, but maybe we could start a little bit more about you. Can you list 3 words that describe who you are?
Oh my. Um, 3 words: a little driven, a little arrogant some days,
Mhm. I don't see.
and you know what? I'm compassionate. I went into nursing for a reason. I work with people with Parkinson's for a reason. I want to help make people's lives better.
And this is a tough one, I think. I shouldn't talk for my guests, but you have so many incredible moments. Is there one moment or most memorable moment that stands out through most of your advocacy today that you can share? Yeah, I got you on that. This is the Oprah questions, the tough, just don't cry. We had someone cry the other day. I felt so.
You know what? I have had had so many people just come tell me their stories,
Yeah.
and those are some of the most meaningful times. I've met people who have MS and Parkinson's. I've met young people who have since passed away with various forms of extreme Parkinson's. You know, P, not PSP, but
Yeah.
multi-system atrophy, MSA. I had a dear friend who got to know who had a young family, and she progressed very quickly and passed away at a very young age, early 40s. And to see them stay in the fight, regardless of how bad their disease got, was probably some of the most moving moments of everything that I've done with Parkinson's disease, and keeps me motivated to do more. That there's so much more that needs to be done for our community.
And I'm so grateful when you share that because again, I feel they live on through us. And I don't think anyone who we've lost due to Parkinson's should ever be forgotten. And I think their voice still matters and we still fight in their memory before all those fighting today and the future, even our children. This is a question you kind of mentioned, but this is a show that I like to also thank people behind the scenes in your life. So obviously, I always joke and say you're kind of the face of the work that you do in U-Turn, but who helps you during times of struggle? There's obviously individuals in your life. You mentioned some. but we want to send our love and thanks and support to them too.
First and foremost is my wife. She's she's my rock. Without her, nothing else that gets done would get done. And then my kids are a huge help. And one of my daughters works full time with me in U-Turn, and the other kids are hugely supportive of everything that we do. And that's where it begins and ends, really, is family. And there are many others that are important, that are hugely important in my life, but family is where it really begins.
Well, we send our love and support again to all of them because I know that you might not, as I wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for our family. So thank you to them and for always being there for you. It means a lot. So thanks. A lot of time these shows and things, no offense to the other shows, but they kind of don't bring those loved ones on the out in the front. We're not going to pull them, watch the door fly open and have them out because some people like being private, but they do deserve to be also thanked. I wish we could send medals and awards to the families too. So thank you. There's a interesting question I didn't ask for a while, but you're always so open and I'm fascinated. So let's hear, is there something you might have done differently looking back the last 10 years?
I probably would have stayed more active.
A good one.
There are things, as active as I am, there is more that I could have been doing. And I think that if I had been really pushing the envelope, my disease probably wouldn't have increased as much as it has. And that sounds a little crazy because I do quite a bit,
Yeah.
but there's still more that could be done. And I'm convinced every day I see it, the more I exercise, the better I feel.
Thank you. And this is an important one, but who is your hero and inspiration?
Well, probably don't have just one hero. I probably have a few, but my dad's a huge motivation for me. He was a great man. He had a great faith, and yet he did not take care of himself physically. So he encourages me both from a positive side as well as a negative side. That I saw him suffer probably unnecessarily because of his unwillingness to look after himself, and yet he was such a great, loving, caring person that you can't hold it against him either.
Yeah. And this one you're kind of already doing enough of, to be honest. I usually don't say that to my guests, but what do you think we can do? I think what we're doing right now is one, but to really reach individuals throughout the world that might not have Parkinson's and might not be caregivers, because I think we need to bring everybody into this movement and this fight for a cure. So maybe you might have a few theories or ways everyone listening might be able to get involved. If you're in the PD community, of course, we love everyone, but also to get others who aren't aware involved.
I think our individual stories are hugely important. That no matter who you are with living with Parkinson's disease, your voice needs to be heard. And it doesn't necessarily need to be on a podcast, doesn't need to be on the evening news, doesn't need to be in a book, it doesn't need to be in something massive. And those things are all great and important. It needs to be to your neighbors, to your friends. You need to talk to people about your disease. They need to understand it. People know that Parkinson's exists. We all know that Michael J. Fox got a medal from the president here recently, right? One of the highest honors in the States. They don't really understand Parkinson's disease. They don't really understand what we go through every day. And that's where our individual stories told one-on-one every day to our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, that's where the difference will be made. That's where people really come to understand who we are, how this disease affects us, and why we need the changes to happen that we need.
Thanks. And also, one great way to do that and share your journey either with us at Together with Sharon or go to reach out to Tim at U-Turn Parkinson's. Again, I'll be sharing all those links and PD Avengers. One other area before I get to one of the final questions is World Parkinson Congress. I'm a huge supporter. Eli's been on the show. A lot of individuals from the ambassadors to science to the, it's just incredible how we're actually reaching them, have been on the show, and I love them. 2 years after my mother passed on 1/1/2020, I knew there were about 1 million or more, I think, who had Parkinson's in the US, but it kind of dropped my plate if I was eating food at the time. And my heart fell when I found out there were about 10 million people around the world with Parkinson's. And that's when I changed my perspective and journey and realized it's not just about my mother and I anymore. We had to be a family and share everyone's journey around the world. And I have to tell you, Tim, I was shocked when I found out Nova Scotia, the people with Parkinson's, Iceland, I mean, you name it, Africa, as you know. We've had them all on the show. I've interviewed over 1,000 people around the world, but we have to, I think the World Parkinson Congress, I tell them they changed my world forever. Maybe you could touch a little bit because we kind of didn't hit a lot on that, but maybe about the World
Sure.
Parkinson Congress and your involvement.
Sure. My first contact with the World Parkinson's Congress was back in 2013 after we'd won the Amazing Race. And they were in Montreal, Canada. So Parkinson's Canada at the time gave me a call and said, "We're going to this Congress. And they've asked if you'd like to come and be a special guest speaker after winning the Amazing Race." I'm like, "Sure, who's that?" And so they go on to explain that there'll be like 3,000 people there. And they want me to be a special surprise guest speaker on one night for 5 minutes.
That's nice.
Like, okay. And then they turn around and say they pay me to come. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
okay, I guess I'll come. I can talk for 5 minutes.
That's
So
nice.
I went, put together a little speech. My wife and I stood there on stage. I gave my little speech for 5 minutes. And that speech at World Parkinson's Congress in Montreal in 2013 literally changed my life. I have been all over the world because of that speech. Everywhere I go, I've had people come up to me and say, "Yeah, I heard you in Montreal. I heard you in Montreal." Or my buddy heard you in Montreal, said, "We need to have you come speak." So it's just amazing. World Parkinson's Congress made such a difference in my life. And if it wasn't for that 5 minutes, I don't know that U-turn would be here. I don't know if I would have done all the things that I've had the opportunity to do. So I have a huge debt of gratitude toward Eli and World Parkinson's Congress and all the work that they do.
And also shout out to the entire World Parkinson Congress, but also thank you again, Tim. I can't thank you enough because even though the incredible things you've done, you still make time for people like me, which really means the world. And like I said, after today, a joke could say, after we end the show and the lights, the camera, and paparazzi leave, we still have to keep fighting. I don't say the show at the end; it's the end. It has to be continued. On that note, if you were asked to write a script, which you might have already been, but to a movie about your life story, what would you call it and what actor would play your role? Because I have somebody, but I'll wait to hear what you I have an idea.
The Killing of PD,
I like
starring Denzel Washington.
Oh, there you go. You took it. I was gonna say, I think we got to get Denzel because he was just at the event with Michael J. Fox. So maybe we could put in a little word there and get him and Michael J. Fox to come to the movie. So
Nice,
perfect. We think too much alike. I love it. And
nice.
then, unfortunately, in a way, this is the final question for today, but I do want to thank you again, your whole family, and again, in memory of your father. We'll never let him be forgotten. Just been such a pleasure and honor to have you today. I do hope we get the opportunity to talk again. There's just so many topics and things, and the future is very bright with hope because of individuals like you. But if you could leave the Parkinson's community today with some words of encouragement, what would they be?
This race can be won. Your race can be won. You don't have to live in despair. You don't have to live alone. You don't have to live somewhere off by yourself, not having any clue what to do with Parkinson's. Find your community. Get with like-minded people who understand you, who know you, and understand that your race, like my amazing race, your race can be won as well. Call us at U-Turn Parkinson's. Check us out online. Call somebody close to you. You can do this. You can win this race with Parkinson's. You just have to try and don't do it alone.
I love that, and I don't want to get you. You have to have an attorney, which I am, but you need to have shirts from U-Turn that said the amazing, what you just said with amazing race and the hope, because I love that. You probably already have that, though. Well, I just wanted to thank you, but I have a little message for you, Tim, and everyone listening. We love you, we support you, we care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with Tim U-Turn, Parkinson's, PD Avengers, the World Parkinson Congress, and so many more will advocate for you. And together I feel our voices are so much stronger. And I always end the show with I'm just getting started, because even though I'm not, unfortunately, it's been 5 years. Tim's been doing this for, a decade, and he's still fighting today, which is a incredible journey. And he's still going to keep going. But no matter what, surgery for me, literally today, anesthesia, not going to stop me. When I wake up from that, which is kind of sad, but when I wake up for a few times now throughout 2024 and 2025, I picked up my phone. I looked to Tim. He doesn't know that, but I looked at Tim. I looked to Larry. I looked to Sonia. I looked to PD Avengers. I looked to all of you listening on Instagram, on Facebook, and on your incredible advocacy pages. I kind of do a Jay-Z and brush myself off and get right back out there, because it's
Yeah.
more important to me in my heart to find a cure, to end this disease, to make sure everyone knows you're never alone, like my mother felt and I did as a caregiver. But there's so many people out there that are a voice, and they're fighting for you all. And Tim is leading the way. So Tim, again, what a honor. I can't jump up and down, but I want to just in excitement give you a virtual hug and just well, I was so excited for today. We planned this for a while, but
Yeah.
what an honor. What you're a hero to me and to so many.
Well,
And
thank you, George.
I'll get emotional too, and you're the guest, so I'll just stop there. But I just want to
Thank you. We appreciate all that you do.
thank,
Your advocacy work and your voice out there is very important. So thank you very much.
means the world. And hope to see you in Arizona, 2026 World Parkinson Congress, and we also hope to see everybody listening. So I
I'll
want to
be
be
there.
It's going to be incredible. And by the way, the hats, I have a story sometime, but my wife is Cuban, my whole family, I'm Jewish and from
Oh,
Brooklyn, New York, American, but we had those hats. We wore them at my wedding because the whole,
nice.
yeah, I love those. It's beautiful. So I'll have to bring mine if I could get fitted on the plane, and we'll have to take a picture together. But again, grateful for the time for you and everyone listening. Please, again, share this, because it's not about anything but really reaching those. I mean, if we reach just one person, a neighbor who doesn't know what Parkinson's is, we've changed the world for everyone for the better, and we'll be closer to a cure. And I won't stop, and nor will Tim, till the cure is at everyone's doorsteps around the world. So this has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George. I do not say goodbye or this is the end. I say this is to be continued. And after the lights and camera and the paparazzi leave again, we're going to still be out there fighting. So thank you, Tim. Thanks everyone for listening. We send our love, and please stay tuned for so much more to come.